The District 1 football playoff bracket is out, so of course we'll discuss that. Plus, we'll look into the city playoff picture, and we'll teach you how to play field hockey next on SFBN Talks High School Sports. Talk about that game and that team in particular. And let's talk about some of the players. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Welcome to another edition of SFBN Talks High School Sports. I'm your host, Ari Bluestein. Our co-host today is Mike Samsel. Mike, thanks for coming back on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, obviously a lot of football to talk about today. Let's start in the city. Let's start with the public league. Now, we've talked about the 4A level a lot on this show. We knew it would be tight. Quarterfinals were this past weekend. Franklin, Gratz, Washington, they are all winners as well. Let's take a look at the King-Frankfurt game. That was the game I really wanted to focus on. 28-20 was the final, and it's very rare that you have the 3A champ versus the 4A champ this early in the playoffs. And for King, the guy that really stood out was Paul Sanchez, who is in our Recruit Me Technology Spotlight. Today's technology, tomorrow's athlete. Talk about King and Paul Sanchez a little bit.
I mean, you got to give credit to Sanchez. Coming out 202 yards rushing on the ground against Frankfurt. It's not very often that you see a team like King step up from 3A to 4A and have success. And it's not very often you see anyone in 4A have success against Frankfurt. So that's a nice win for them. Paul Sanchez, again, 202 yards rushing. This King team won 3A last year. Now they step up to 4A, get another win. Very well done. This is a good football team.
So let's look ahead to the semifinals now coming up this next weekend. King versus Gratz, Washington versus Franklin. Who do you like in those games?
I'm going to go with King over Gratz simply because Gratz hasn't had a very hard schedule. I don't know that they're big game tested as of yet. On the other side, you look at this King team, and they've seemingly played nothing but big games. Paul Sanchez, probably the best player on the field as well. In the other game, Washington against Franklin, you look at this Franklin team. They have a spread offense. Quarterback Kevin Caldwell passed for close to 2,000 yards this season. I like him throwing the ball around the yard. And on the other side with Washington, you know, tight team, likes to run the football, play good defense, kind of win games, muck it up. Usually that's the kind of team that wins when you get into November, but I'm actually going to go the other way. I'm going to go with Franklin in this game.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on Gratz, but I'm going to go with Washington. They've got the seasoned coach in Ron Cohen, so I'm going to say Washington with the revenge factor. They lost to Franklin in double overtime during the regular season. So let's go over to 2A in the Catholic League. The semifinals occurred this past weekend. Newman-Goretti defeats Lansdale Catholic 20-14, and West Catholic all over Conway-Legan 54-0. So next weekend, West Catholic versus Newman-Goretti. Who do you have in that game?
Boy, could you imagine if West Catholic would have had quarterback Antoine McCullum? He's been out since September when he got injured in a game against Archbishop Wood. Now, McCullum has the cast off, according to Ace Carter of the Daily News, so it's going to be interesting to see if he comes out to play this week. If he plays this week, I actually like the Burrs with McCullum. Even though hasn't really played in a long time, he's still an outstanding athlete. If McCullum doesn't go, you kind of have to lean toward Newman-Goretti.
Yeah, Newman-Goretti, the running back Khalil Roan, 3 straight 100-yard rushing games, but he was held to only 21 yards against West Catholic when they met during the regular season. So I'm going to go with the Burrs just because of their defense, even if McCullum doesn't play. But it should be a very interesting game no matter what. Now in the 3A, we have another interesting game. Now one of the games, Wood versus O'Hara, should be a Wood win there. But Ryan versus Bonner Prendy in an interesting 2-3 matchup. During the regular season, Bonner Prendy wins 21-20 on a last-second passing touchdown. Who do you like in this game?
I'm going to lean toward Bonner Prendy just because they're outstanding quarterback, Colin DeGalbo. I like the way he throws the ball. And you mentioned the 21-20. Again, here's another game where both of these teams not separated by very much. Samir Bullock is an outstanding running back. Ryan's going to have revenge on their mind, but I just like Bonner Prendy. I'm just playing my gut, though.
I'm going to go again with the revenge factor. Archbishop Ryan, Samir Bullock, a phenomenal running back for the Raiders, so I'm going to go with them winning and advancing to play Wood in the 3A title game. Now in 4A, Judge and Roman, they're the underdogs against Prep and LaSalle. Do they have any chance to beat those teams?
I just don't see it. I mean, you look at Prep, you look at LaSalle, it felt like these two teams were destined to meet again when they met earlier this year. I just don't see it.
I'd probably agree. Maybe they'll keep it close a little bit, Judge and Rowan, but I think in the end, you're right. Prep LaSalle rematch for sure in the 4A final. Now we have our SFBN Game of the Week. It's our first game in the Interact. Episcopal Academy at the Haverford School. Usually a pretty good matchup, but this year on paper, Episcopal kind of having a down year. Haverford School, they're undefeated in league play. Talk about this matchup a little bit.
Well, first off, it's nice for Episcopal. It tells you what a quality program that they have. That 5-5 is a down year for them. You know, not really struggling, but kind of trying to find their traction a little bit. That said, you look at this Haverford School, they've only allowed 24 points in Interact play defensively so far this year. Quarterback Kevin Carter passed for almost 400 yards a few weeks back. I think Haverford probably rolls in this one, and unfortunately for Episcopal, they finish under 500.
Yeah, I probably agree. The Haverford School having a very good year. Their only loss was their first game of the year, so they've had a nice year so far. Make sure you watch that game on our website, www.thesportsfanbasenetwork.com. Well, we have a lot more football to discuss, and Mike will be around for that. Stay tuned here on SFBN Talks High School Sports.
I got the personal attention I needed, I had a lot of options when I graduated, and as far as I'm concerned, this is my dream job.
Ryder prepared me for my NBA career, and I also got the education that I need for life after basketball.
I had 6 teaching internships while I was at Ryder, and right after graduation, I started a career that I love.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
For over 30 years, the Runaround has serviced southeastern Pennsylvania as the premier team outfitter in the region. Located in Abington, the Runaround serves as a one-stop shop for many of the area's top high school and collegiate athletic programs, as well as numerous travel teams, youth organizations, and corporations. With its top-quality screen printing and embroidery coupled with the best prices in the region, the Runaround is your answer to any team apparel needs.
Welcome back. In addition to football, there are many competitive fall sports, and not many people realize how difficult it is to play field hockey. So we sent out Jack Kapp to Episcopal Academy to learn a little bit more about the sport.
I'm Allie Rushton. I'm a senior at Episcopal Academy and I play defense.
I'm Christy Palese. I'm a senior at Episcopal Academy and I play midfield.
Jack Kapp is joining us today from SFBN.
And we're showing him some of our field hockey techniques.
What are we doing here now?
Okay, so this is the basics of passing and receiving.
Okay.
So obviously this is used all over the field. So when you're passing the ball, you want to be a little bit out in front of you so you can, so you can take a step onto it and get the most power. Your hand is at the bottom of your stick. Okay. And your other hand's at the top, and you want to stay low, knees bent, and hit through it. So. And then when receiving the ball, you want to be low again, and you kind of want to catch the ball. with your angle face down a little bit so you can absorb it.
So if you have your stick too much like this, it's going to pop over.
Yeah.
So you really want to be more like kind of like this a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. How many years does it take to get good at this?
It takes a lot of practice, but
it takes a lot of practice.
Get
the ball's out in front of me.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, there's a nice flat one.
That was good.
I'm going to receive from Allie here. Oh, jeez.
And yeah, I can't hit your body.
No, I can't hit your body. I feel. You see, I'm a soccer player.
Yeah.
I feel like stopping with my foot. Okay. That's not bad, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, nice out.
And can't hit that side of your stick
no,
either.
You can't touch it then.
No.
Because the whistle would sound immediately.
Only the flat side.
So you've been at EA since when? When did you come
Well, I've
here?
been at EA since I was a freshman, and I'm a senior right now, so it's my 4th year at Episcopal.
And you played hockey all 4 years?
All 4 years. I made it varsity as a freshman.
And what has your experience been like on this hockey team?
I've had an awesome experience on the field hockey team. I love the coaches. They're really experienced.
You're
and
very
they know,
lucky to have Miss Buggy, right?
I know. She played in the Olympics.
So now, what is your favorite part of playing on the team? What do you like to do most?
My favorite part about field hockey is transferring the ball, and that's when you transfer the ball from the left side of the field to the right side.
So are you a left defender?
Yes, I'm a left defender.
So is that because you're left-handed, or what is it?
No, I'm right-handed, but I'm probably better on the left side, I'd say.
Now, everybody has to play right-handed. We already
they don't make
established
left-handed
that.
sticks.
There's no such thing because the curve, the round part you can't hit with, right?
It takes a lot of practice.
And it's been worth it, right?
Yeah, it's been really worth it.
What is your record here at Episcopal? What is the current record of the team?
Our current record right now is 19-1.
19-1.
I know.
I've been at EA since 2nd grade.
And what has your experience been like both academically and in sports? Tell me about it.
Well, I love every part of EA. I've had a great experience athletically as well. For field hockey, I've been on the team for 4 years. Field hockey season is by far my favorite season. I love the team, the coaches.
What is your favorite aspect of the game?
Well, I really like shooting and scoring. I think that's fun. Well, I like being all over the field. I like shooting, and I get to do that on the corners, which is an offensive man-up situation. So I think that's fun.
All right, so this is a basic move that you use to get around defenders and to dribble up the field. So you're going to drag your defender to the left and then
very
pull
good at
right.
This. Yes. Oh my. Can you do that one more time?
Yeah, I'll do that. So I'm bringing her to the left and then pulling right and going around.
Like this,
Yeah.
and then drag it back, and then come around her. Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
And then try it again, right? Go the other way. So I'm going to drag her this way and then trying to fake her out. Of course, she's pretending that I'm good at this, but this is very hard to do.
It's so hard.
It is. It takes years to develop. I can see that.
It's a lot of practice.
It takes a lot of practice to do this. But you can only hit it with
the flat side. You can't
the flat
hit
side of the stick, which is a very small area. This seriously could take years to learn. For someone
it's really
who's never
hard
played
to learn.
before,
Yeah, it's
right?
hard to learn.
And you're going to be playing against each other. So tell me what that's going to be like. You've always played with each other.
Yeah, we've always been on
teammates.
the same team.
What are you expecting when you play against each other?
I'm excited. I'll have to make sure I'm serious.
I know, it's going to be a really cool game, and we're only like 10 miles away from each other.
It's right down the road.
So it's right down the road. So that's gonna be really cool.
Well, that should be fun. We would like to see also some passing, an on-the-ground pass.
This is sweet.
And
you
it's
stop
a
it right
beautiful
in front of your
stop.
feet.
That's very skilled. It's a higher level, more sophisticated.
Yeah, you can do an aerial.
Perfect. You think I can try that move? Actually went pretty good, huh?
The Sports Fan Base Network, this area's leader in high school sports broadcasting, is heading to TCN with a brand new talk show. Join us every other Wednesday at 6 o'clock for SFBN Talks High School Sports. We'll have everything from interviews with players, coaches, writers, and more, plus analysis, rankings, highlights, and in-depth features on major topics in the Delaware Valley high school sports community. Tune in every other Wednesday, 6 p.m. on TCN for SFBN Talks High School Sports.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
For over 30 years, the Runaround has serviced southeastern Pennsylvania as the premier team outfitter in the region. Located in Abington, the Runaround serves as a one-stop shop for many of the area's top high school and collegiate athletic programs, as well as numerous travel teams, youth organizations, and corporations. With its top-quality screen printing and embroidery coupled with the best prices in the region, the Runaround is your answer to any team apparel needs.
The Writers' Corner is brought to you by El Dion Pagilari State Farm Insurance Agency. For all your insurance and financial needs, please contact El Dion and his friendly team at 215-485-5556 or visit their website, epinsured.com. Welcome back to SFBN Talks. It's now time for the Writers' Corner, and we welcome in Jen Wielgus of the Bucks County Courier-Times and the Intelligencer. Jen, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ari.
So obviously you cover Bucks County, so let's start off with a big rivalry game. Pennsbury versus Neshaminy. Now the Redskins, they haven't had a great year, and ultimately the Falcons come out on top in that game.
Right, well Pennsbury would have been the favorite in that game, even if Neshaminy had a full team. But Neshaminy was missing 4 starters due to an off-the-field incident, including their stud running back DeAndre Pollard, and their quarterback had a concussion. But they still hung really tough in that game. It was only 17-3. Unfortunately, no moral victories. This will be the first time since 2006 that Neshaminy misses the playoffs.
And another team in Bucks County, the Abington Ghosts, they are going to miss the playoffs as well, as they lost to the North Penn Knights this past weekend. It's just been a tough year for Abington overall.
It really has. The fact that they were even in the playoff discussion is a credit to Coach Tim Sorber and what he does there. It's been 6 straight years that they've made the playoffs, but this time, I mean, they needed to beat North Penn to get that 7th time, and you do not want to have to beat North Penn this time of year. Dick Beck has those Knights rolling into the playoffs.
Another interesting game, CB South against Souderton. Now CB South, everybody knows Josh Adams, their star running back, but he's been out with an injury. And as a result, the Titans, they fall to Souderton in an interesting upset of a game.
Very interesting. I mean, CB South is a really hard luck story because heading into that game, they were tied for 5th in the power rankings, which means they would have gotten a home game. And even without Josh Adams, they had a chance to win that game. They were at the 1-yard line in their last possession and a couple of bad penalties. And here, they're probably going to fall to a seed that makes them go on the road.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the seedings a little bit later in the show. Another interesting game, CB East versus Quakertown. The Quakertown Panthers, they were undefeated until CB East knocked them off in an upset.
Yeah, that is, if you look in the dictionary under spoiler, CB East. I mean, holy cow. The Patriots were really, they must have been really frustrated that they didn't get to play that rivalry game last week against CB West with the cancellation of West season. Right. That was a forfeit, and they just took it to Quakertown. I mean, I'm kind of speechless just thinking about the fact that CB East beat Quakertown, but a credit to them.
Yeah, and a good win to end the season, certainly for sure for CB East. And same thing for Council Rock South, as they knocked off their big rival, Council Rock North, and quarterback Brandon McElwain. Talk about that upset.
Well, Council Rock North is a lot like CB South in that heading into that game, they just needed to win and they would get a home game in the first round. Not only did they not win, they gave up 40 points. Vincent Alimenti for Council Rock South had 246 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Brendan Patterson had 115 yards and 3 touchdowns. Council Rock North is having a lot of trouble stopping people.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can stop anybody in the playoffs, which we'll, of course, get into when we return. The District 1 4A playoff bracket. We're going to break it all down on the other side next on SFBN Talks High School Sports.
The Sports Fan Base Network, this area's leader in high school sports broadcasting, is heading to TCN with a brand new talk show. Join us every other Wednesday at 6 o'clock for SFBN Talks High School Sports. We'll have everything from interviews with players, coaches, writers, and more, plus analysis, rankings, highlights, and in-depth features on major topics in the Delaware Valley high school sports community. Tune in every other Wednesday, 6 p.m. on TCN for SFBN Talks High School Sports.
I got the personal attention I needed. I had a lot of options when I graduated, and as far as I'm concerned, this is my dream job.
Ryder prepared me for my NBA career, and I also got the education that I need for life after basketball.
I had 6 teaching internships while I was at Ryder, and right after graduation, I started a career that I love.
Welcome back, and as promised, we are now going to take a look at the District 1 4A football bracket. Jen sticks around. We welcome back Mike. Let's start with you, Jen. Looking at these 8 matchups, anyone stand out to you?
3 do.
Okay.
Quakertown Penridge, a heated rivalry that usually happens on Thanksgiving. The trash talk surrounding that one has been going on Twitter for weeks. Upper Dublin, Council Rock North, just because prior to Saturday's loss to Council Rock South, North had a home game. And now they've got to travel to Upper Dublin, which is seeking its first district win. So a big win there. And then finally, Garnet Valley, Central Bucks South. Simply because Josh Adams, who I think might be the best player in the district, has had a bum ankle for 2 weeks. We don't know how effective he's going to be in that one.
The only one I would like to add to that would be Pennsbury Downingtown West. I think that game's going to be a lot closer than people think. Pennsbury, it's interesting because they've kind of been a tale of 2 teams over the past 3 weeks. They struggled a little bit last week against a very downtrodden Neshaminy team, only winning 17-3. They lose 2 weeks back to North Penn, and in between they sandwich a 55-7 win over CB South. So it's interesting to see which Pennsbury team is going to kind of show up because that Downingtown West football team is very good, led by quarterback Tyler McNulty.
Yeah, this is true, and I love to look at the brackets. I love to look at that 5-12 game in the NCAA tournament. Right. That's what I look to right there. Downingtown East against Perkiomen Valley. Now, I like Downingtown East a lot, and I'll let you know how far I think they're going to go. Andrew Hudson, very good quarterback, but don't count out Perkiomen Valley. Should be a very interesting matchup. Now, speaking of those picks, let's start with you, Jen. What do you have for those first round games? Any upsets in the first round?
Well, I have North Penn beating Henderson, but I don't know if you can consider that an upset. This is playoff time. It is nighttime, and Dick Beck has those guys rolling. And then Penridge over Quakertown is kind of the chic upset pick. I just really feel like the Rams are more battle-tested from being in that SOL National. And then I have CB South beating Garnet Valley because if Josh Adams is on the field, I feel like the Titans can beat anybody.
Well, I have those same 3 upsets, if you will, all kind of the trendy upset picks. But the only other one I'm going to throw in, I'm actually going to throw in the 6-11 upset of Council Rock North defeating Upper Dublin, simply because I'm betting on Brandon McElwain. He's the best player on the field. Now, he can't play defense. Unfortunately, none of the other Knights can either. I mean, they've given up over 40 points 3 of their last 4 games or something like that. So they're struggling defensively, but I'm betting Brandon McElwain can help them pull through in what's going to be a super high-scoring game.
I see Jen shaking her head over there.
I've lost all my confidence in Council Rock North. McElwain's been the best player on the field pretty much all season. They gave up 42 points to Truman, 34 unanswered points against Quakertown, and then Council Rock South hung 40 on him on Saturday. I've got Upper Dublin in that one.
Now, I've got Council Rock North. I'm with Mike. I'm going with the McElwain factor, but you're right. That could really go either way, and I'm actually going with the non-upset pick with Quakertown. The trendy pick is Penridge, but Quakertown's at home. The Panthers have had a good year. Running back Rob Burns has had a really nice year as well. I just like them. They're at home. And like you said, it's a rivalry game, so it could really go either way. So that's my non-upset pick right there. So looking ahead now to the next round, who do you guys have advancing after that? Jen, we'll start with you.
Well, I might be the only one, but I have Coatesville beating North Penn and advancing on. And then a little bit crazy, again, kind of a bias toward that SOL National. I've got Penridge beating Downingtown East.
Well, those teams are going to be battle-tested for sure. I actually have North Penn beating Coatesville because, like you said, it's nighttime. I mean, Dick Beck has that team rolling right now. And I have Penridge defeating Downingtown East just because I think that SOL National, A, is so battle-tested, and B, Chessmont teams generally don't fare well against Suburban 1 teams in the playoffs. At the bottom, I go Chalk, Pennsbury, Ruston.
I'm going a little Chessmont heavy here. I've got Coatesville beating North Penn, so I'm with you there, Jen. Maybe we're the only 2, but I've got Coatesville winning in a close game game. I've got Downingtown East beating Quakertown, so obviously if Penn Ridge wins that first-round game, my bracket might be busted a little bit. And I've got Ruston and Pennsbury at the bottom as well. How about the championship? Who do you have?
I have Coatesville's undefeated season ending against Pennsbury. Falcons kick it off.
When you lose 13 straight times, that's a trend. And I have North Penn defeating Pennsbury for a 14th straight time and winning the district.
Well, that matchup, Coatesville versus Downingtown East, a big rematch, a really tight game during the year. I've got the revenge factor, Downingtown East coming out on top. I've got Pennsbury beating Ruston, and ultimately Pennsbury as my champion, so I'm with you.
Did he just pick North Penn to win the district, a team that people left for dead after the first couple weeks? My goodness.
2 and 3 feels a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Crazy season.
Well, thank you guys for making your picks. And Jen, thank you very much for being here on SFBN Talks.
Thanks for having me.
Take a look at what's coming up on the Sports Fan Base Network. Well, that about wraps things up for this edition of SFBN Talks High School Sports. And Mike, this is just such a great time of year for high school football here in early November.
Yeah, it really is. Something about those November Friday night lights. It's freezing outside. The students are going crazy. This is really the high school football equivalent of March Madness.
Yeah, it really is. And I guess we're going to see how everything plays out. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to tell you all about it and preview some more November football. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.
Select video equipment for SFBN Talks has been provided by DMP Video. DMP Video. You provide the moment, we'll capture the memories. For more information about our videography services, please go to our website at www.dmpvid.com.
The High School Scholar Athlete of the Month for November is Kyle Shermer of LaSalle College High School in Winmore, PA. The Vanderbilt commit is one of the top quarterbacks in the area and is also a major contributor to LaSalle State Championship swimming team. Kyle has a 4.2 GPA while being a leader in the school community and working with the organization Athletes Helping Athletes.
The Sports Fan Base Network, this area's leader in high school sports broadcasting, is heading to TCN with a brand new talk show. Join us every other Wednesday at 6 o'clock for SFBN Talks High School Sports. We'll have everything from interviews with players, coaches, writers, and more, plus analysis, rankings, highlights, and in-depth features on major topics in the Delaware Valley high school sports community. Tune in every other Wednesday, 6 p.m. on TCN for SFBN Talks High School Sports.